Everybody, welcome. We're just waiting to start in about 1 minute. Oh, it's time. Let's see who's on. Good morning, brokers. Happy Wealthy Winning Wednesday. Woohoo! Who's ready for another great day of learning and working on your business, not in your business? Please check in. Let us know where you're joining us from. Oh, Heidi says, how do I call in? Heidi, there is no call in feature in Webinar Jam, which is the platform we're using, but you can go ahead and type in the chat and I will read off any questions you have and hopefully answer them for you. Irene Torres, Colorado Springs. Hi, me, I'm ready. Woohoo, yay, Irene. And who else do we have today? I see we have more people joining us. Welcome. While we are getting ready for everybody to join us, I'll just go ahead and share with you a few of the great books that we have here today to go over. Now, today's topic is leadership and legacy. And there is no better master at leadership than John C. Maxwell. I have a few of his books on audio, Kindle, and the one that I have here in person, the published one, is Developing the Leader Within You. It is actually, let's see if we can get a better view. There we go. It's actually the workbook that accompanies the book. Has lots of great exercises in it. Awesome stuff. We'll be have some great gold nuggets from his book today, as well as some other ones. Oh, hello, Shakita from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, welcome. We're also going to be talking about our strengths. Now, who in here has already done Strengths Finder 2.0? There you go, with Tom Rath. It's an awesome book about your strengths and focusing on building your strengths instead of worrying about your weaknesses and developing your weaknesses. This book here has a little test that you take to find out what your strengths are. Now, we're not going to go over this book per se, but this book has a second book in the series, which is right here, Strengths-Based Leadership, again with the same author, Tom Rath. And this book actually takes your strengths and applies them to leadership roles in 4 different categories. So we'll be learning about that today as well. Okay, everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from. We're about to get started here. Oh, okay, Heidi, you said, has it started? I'm not seeing or hearing anything. Heidi. Yes, we're live. Please log off and try logging in again. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, there we go. We do have video, we do have audio. I've confirmed that. And if anybody has any problems getting in, just let me know. You might have a bad connection. You might have to log out, log back in again. And if so, that's just fine. We'll still be here. We'll be here for 1 hour from 10 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific, which I know is 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time and adjusted for all the times they're in. So who's ready to get started? We're going to switch over to our PowerPoint presentation. Scale up your brokerage. Who's ready to learn about blueprints to build your empire profitably? And today's topic is scale up your brokerage with leadership and legacy. As you know, today is the 12th of 12 in a series, which is pretty exciting that we've completed them all. If you missed any of the sessions, No worries. We've got you covered. We have a way that you can go in and get the complete bundle of all 12, along with all of the handouts, the activities, the bonuses. And in addition, we've added some more content to some of the sessions too, to really beef them up. So we'll tell you about that at the end. So stay tuned, or you can feel free to contact me. And some of you might be wondering what's coming up next week. So we'll also give you a little sneak preview of next week's surprise topic, and then our next series we're going to jump into in February. So let's get started with leadership and legacy. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Fortune 500 concepts without that pesky MBA price tag. Woohoo! I already got the MBA price tag for you, so I'm just sharing the information with you to help save on that cost, right? A little bit about MBA Broker Consultants. As you know, we're a brokerage consulting company, and we're here to help you work on your business instead of in your business, and instead of playing the game, changing the rules of the game. So today's mastermind is going to be the 12th of 12 steps. We'll have an activity workbook. We'll have some bonus downloads and some resources. And I'm going to go ahead and share the activity workbook with you right now because we have so much in there. So let's see. Okay, it's called Session 12 Activity Worksheets. And I just went ahead and shared that right now. If you could let me know that you received it, that'd be great. Okay, we're sharing the Session 12 Activity Worksheets. I think there's 5 pages in there. It's a lot of stuff. Of course, you won't be able to work through it all today during our session, but save it and you can come back to that. Everybody got the activity worksheet downloaded? A little bit about me. I'm Regina Brown. I think most of you probably know me. I have my MBA degree that I earned in 2017, and before that, a bachelor's degree in real estate. I've had my real estate license for 30 years. I'm the broker owner of California Coast and Country Homes, and I started out my MBA mission to improve myself and my company. And in the process, I learned so much that I couldn't help but sharing it with all of you, my brokerage owner friends, because I'm truly passionate about entrepreneurship. And our goal today is to elevate the standards of professionalism in our real estate industry. Okay, awesome. Looks like everybody got the handout. Thank you for responding, everybody. Our quote for today is from Frederick K.C. Price, and it says, "He who thinketh he leadeth, and hath no one following him, is only taking a walk." So just a little commentary on leadership, right? How do you know if you're really a true leader? Well, if you look behind you and there's nobody following you, you're not a leader. Leaders come in all different forms. Some have formal authority, and some people follow just because of that person's charisma or their energy, and they might not have any formal authority in an organization. So we're going to find out about all of that and more. But remember, to be a leader, you first need to have followers, right? Each week we've been talking about building your empire, starting with a strong, wide, deep foundation and an adequate infrastructure that allows us to scale up and build an empire. So today is our last of 12 in the series, and our topic is leadership. That's really the roof, right? You can see my little slide there. The roof is the cap over everything. The roof is what protects the entire structure that you've built. And your continued leadership is what inspires your people. It's what motivates them. And as you build a legacy for the future, you're really going to see all of these business steps that you put into place really blossom, grow, and develop. So that's what our topic is today. We're going to go over first a little bit about leadership, and then the leadership diamond, strengths-based leadership, servant leadership, a succession plan, and your legacy. Illuminate the leadership path and build a lasting legacy. And leadership is not about you getting somewhere. Leadership is about you helping others get there with you, right? So our first poll of the day is, are you stronger as a leader or a manager? Where do you think your strongest skills are? I'm going to go ahead and put that poll up. So A is a leader. In other words, I feel I'm stronger as a leader, paving the way for people who are following me. Or B, I feel I'm stronger as a manager, keeping all the balls juggling and making sure operations are on track. Or C is both equally. I feel I'm equal parts leader and manager. That's pretty rare. Most of us lean to one side or the other. So I'm pretty curious to see how each of us rate ourselves today. Okay, so far we have manager and both equally. Oh, it's changing. Now we got manager both equally are 50-50. Okay, waiting for a couple more responses. All right, more manager than equally. Now we got 60% manager, 40% say both equally, which is great. There's no right answer because each of us have the strengths that we have. It's just a matter of realizing what our strengths are and being able to leverage those strengths, and then realizing what our weaknesses are and how we can outsource, delegate, or automate those weaknesses. So we're going to go ahead and end the poll with 17% said leader, 14% said leader, 57% said manager, and 29% said both equally. Excellent. So what does a leader do? We hear that word thrown around a lot, but you don't always hear what a leader does behind the scenes. It may seem like a glamorous job, somebody who's out in front, saying, row the boat this way, or somebody who you might be a very visible figurehead at the company. But what does a leader actually do behind the scenes? So we said a leader is somebody who has followers, right? If you have followers, that means that you've motivated people to get on board with the vision for your company. So awesome. If you're a leader, it means that you're inspiring people who are having a difficult time and they have challenges. You've inspired them to overcome those hurdles so they can conquer the goals that the company has set. Also, a leader is somebody who solves problems. That's the not so glamorous side. Makes decisions. Sometimes they're tough decisions. A leader is somebody who takes some time to plan and think of what's coming in the future and how they're going to seek opportunities to leverage whatever future changes are coming in the industry. And a leader is also somebody who innovates and develops new ideas, maybe for themselves, the company, or the industry as a whole. So that's what a leader does. That's not a tougher job than we originally thought, right? It's not so glamorous. So basically, there are two tenets of basic leadership. The first is influence. We said people are following you. So that means you have a sphere of influence, and those people will take your suggestion to heart and will do what you suggest. And the second is power. Now, sometimes a leader has what we call legitimate power, which is where they're in a position of power, like maybe a manager or the owner or a team leader. Or maybe they're not in a position of power, but people still follow them anyway. And because of their influence, that leads to power. So just think of somebody that you know that everybody loves to listen to and follow, and that person has no, legitimate authority, like they don't have a role or title as a leader, but yet they're very powerful. So influence and power together is leadership. This is a great book from Max Dupree called Leadership is an Art. And he was the CEO at Herman Miller for many years. And they're an excellent, excellent company, been named as one of the best places to work for many years. And there's a reason why, and it's because of their leadership and the culture they have created there at Herman Miller. So in his book, which, you can get it on Amazon or wherever, it's an awesome book. It's called Leadership is an Art. And he discusses that leadership boils down to just three things. Number one, demonstrating integrity. Number two, cultivating relationships. And number three, building community. So think about that a little bit and how you can apply that to your real estate brokerage: integrity, relationships, and community. And one of the things the Herman Miller way does is he believes that leaders clear the path for their people. They remove obstacles that prevent their followers from succeeding. Think about how you, as a brokerage owner, can be a leader for your followers by helping them succeed and removing obstacles that stand in their way. Now in this book, let's see, this is the John Maxwell Developing the Leader Within You, the workbook, which I have a copy of here. He talks about the 5 steps of leadership. And this is basically, will sort of reflect on how much power you have. And the first one is position. So position means that you have a position of leadership, you have a role or a title. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to follow you because they want to. They're following you because you have to, because you have that title. Number 2 is permission. And in permission, that's based on relationships, and people will follow because they want to, not necessarily because they have to. And then you go up to the next level, which is production. And in that one, people will follow you because they see the results of what you've done for the organization. For example, you've been a pillar in the community. You've closed a lot of sales. You've mentored other agents. And when they see that, that gives you credibility, and others want to follow you. Now, moving on to the next stage is people development. And that's where you work with people and they're appreciative for your time and attention that you're extending to them. And they follow you because you've helped develop them as a person, which leads to a very high degree of loyalty. And the last one is personhood. And that means people will follow because of who you are and what you represent. In other words, people see that you stand for integrity and fairness and honesty and doing the right thing and making good decisions. And they like what they see in you, and they follow you because of you. So that's the ultimate step of a leadership. And if you can get to that point in your company where people from the outside look in and say, I just love this company because I love the broker owner and she or he has done awesome things. I love what they're doing in the community. I love their sales, their culture, and you create a very attractive culture, and people will join you just to be part of that culture. And it has nothing to do with necessarily, the highest producer or the lowest fees charged or anything like that. So that's sort of the ultimate achievement of leadership. Now we have a leadership style matrix. It's pretty hard to see unless you're on a big computer screen, which most of you probably are not. So I do have a bonus form I'm going to share with you. And this is called the leadership style matrix. I'm going to go ahead and share that right now. Okay, it's called leadership style matrix. And I'm now sharing it. Please let me know if you can download that. This compares the 4 different types of basic leadership styles and the differences between them. And the first is the authoritative or autocratic leader. And that's the boss that says, you will do this now or else. And that might be needed in some instances. Perhaps in the military, you're under fire and your sergeant above you says, do this, you're going to do it, right? The next one is participative or transformational leader, and that's more of a teamwork driven. So that is a great leadership style for professionals and works very well in industries where people are internally motivated and a more professional environment where people might have degrees or they might have licenses or certifications, or where you're working together as a team. The next one is called the servant or authentic leadership style. And in that leadership style, you empower others. And it's all about the team and the people, and they drive the organization rather than the leaders. So it's a very transparent communication, and this is a great style to use in non-profit organizations and teamwork environments as well. And the last one is called hands-off or laissez-faire leadership style. And in that one, the leader sits back basically and lets people do their own thing. And that is a good leadership style when you have creative professionals or perhaps independent contractors and people that are already their own sort of business people and they don't want to be micromanaged. So depending on what type of organization you have, that would drive your leadership style and the skills that you need to develop to be the right leader for your team. Okay, everybody, please let me know if you received the download. It's called Leadership Style Matrix, and it's just what you're looking at here on the screen, except readable. Now we have the success formula. The success formula for a leader is you have duties, right? Those are your jobs that you have to do. That's like your job description, for example. Okay, everybody's saying yes, you received the handout. Good. Also, role model. Sometimes people don't think about that, but we are often role models. And whether people say it or not, they are looking to us for some sort of direction and guidance, even if just by watching us. And the last one is responsibilities. And those are the not necessarily the tasks, but the responsibilities to uphold a certain level of business professionalism. So that is the leadership success formula. Now, a few minutes ago, we had a poll about leaders versus managers. And Peter F. Drucker, who's one of the world's foremost authorities on leadership and management, says management is doing things right, whereas leadership is doing the right things. So that's Peter F. Drucker's quote. And this is a little comparison between a leader or a manager. So a leader is somebody who has a formal role, or it could be informal, as we discussed earlier. They inspire and they motivate people to action, to achieve something. They represent change and movement, and they're not afraid to lead the change. They're often mentors to other people, but a leader is not necessarily a manager. Now, on the flip side, we have a manager. A manager is somebody who regulates processes and people. They're very concerned with order and consistency, and their goal is to make sure that tasks get accomplished. As part of their job, they're going to use judgment and logic, and this person is not necessarily a leader. Now, why does this matter, the difference between leader and manager? Well, for yourself, I think as a brokerage owner, you need to know which of these two you favor more, and then either hire somebody in the other area or be aware of your skills and how you can develop them. For example, if you're really good at the operations management and the back end part of running a brokerage, you're more of a manager. If you're the kind of person that everybody wants to train them and follow them and mentor them, that's more of the leader type. So as you're looking at expanding your brokerage and growing it, you're going to need both types of people in your organization. You're going to need a leader who goes out and recruits agents, and you'll need a manager who runs the back office. So hopefully that helps make the distinction a little clearer. And as you're hiring people for these roles, you can sort of look and see, do they have skills of a manager, leader, or both? And where can I fit them in the organization that is the best fit for them and to continue growing our company? Any questions? Be sure to let me know if you have any questions, everybody. We said leadership style is about culture. Your culture begins with the leadership style. So care, listen, support your people, be available, approachable, responsive. Have those values of honesty and integrity that people know they can depend on you. Set your expectations clearly and make sure you have positive guidance for your people. One of the things I often see in social media that's a little bit makes people feel awkward is when people are reprimanding other people in a public forum like social media, where it's open to thousands of people. And there is a saying in business that you should praise people in public and reprimand them in private. So remember that as part of your culture is when somebody does something wrong, you don't want to sit in front of the entire group and berate one person, but definitely pull them to the side and see how you can encourage them to do better next time. Situational leadership. This is one of those Fortune 500 concepts. So on the left, we see high directive leadership and low development individual. And that person needs a lot of directing, and that's more of probably the autocratic leadership style. On the other end of the arrow, we see low directive leadership and a high development individual, and those people are people that are very self-motivated. They don't need much from you. So you're going to give more of delegating things, and they're going to figure out how to get it done. So on our little arrow here, we have directing. Then as people are more developed, you're going to be coaching. And as they are developed more, you'll just be supporting them. And then lastly, delegating. Now, the leadership diamond, the skills you need to succeed and sparkle in your leadership role. First, we have a poll. Which leadership skills are most important? A is financial, B is relationships, and C is decision making. We usually only put 3 answers to our poll, so I wasn't able to put all of the above. So there's really no right answer here. But we'll go ahead and see what everybody has to say. Which leadership skills do you believe are the most important for a leader? Are they A, financial skills, B, relationship skills, or C, decision-making skills? Okay, I can see why everybody hesitated because the poll that you're taking actually has different answers. Okay, so this poll was changed and somebody didn't change the other part. That person was me. Okay, so the poll that you're actually answering is A, communication, B, integrity, or C, taking action. So we'll go with that. So 33% said A, communication, 67% said B, integrity, and nobody taking action. We talked a lot about integrity. That is important. Communication is also important. But it doesn't really matter what you put. They're all important. Communication, integrity, taking action, as well as the financial relationships and decision making. All of those are important as part of the leadership skill set. So here's that leadership diamond. The diamond has 4 parts. The green or the emerald is your financial guidance skills. The purple is your decision-making skills. The red ruby is your relationship cultivation skills. And the blue is your problem-solving skills. So take some time to think about and check your handout. We do have an activity worksheet on page 2 to help you decide which skills you have in each of these areas. To be a well-rounded leader, you need skills from each of these diamond areas. And if not, for example, if you're weak in the financial part, of course, you do need to learn how to do your, read your financial statements. But also that tells you that this is something maybe you can hire somebody to do. You can outsource. You can get help with it. You can take a class in it. So that helps you figure out which of these areas you're strong in and which ones might need to be polished a little bit. Okay, so here's the activity. And you can look again on page 2 in your worksheet. Now let's talk a little bit about strengths-based leadership. At the beginning, I showed you this book. It's called, can you see it there? Strengths Finder 2.0 from Tom Rath. And when you buy this book, it actually has an online quiz. So you can go in and take the quiz and find out which areas you have strengths in. And his whole premise is that it's better to cultivate your strengths than your weaknesses. So that's why you need to focus on your top strengths. Now, in his second book, which is the one we're talking about today because we're talking about leadership, it's called Strengths-Based Leadership. Okay. And basically, what you do is you take the strengths that you have and apply them to your leadership roles. So if you do get this book, the Strengths-Based Leadership from Tom Rath and Don Clifton, you will also be able to take the online assessment that's included, and you can take that free. Okay, so what are your strengths? I believe this is page 3 of your activity workbook. Your strengths are based on your background, your motivation, your legacy. Take some time to think about the strengths that you have and compare it with the strengths-based leadership. Why do we need strengths? And what areas do we need strengths in? Well, the author says that a follower has 4 basic needs. They need to be able to trust you. They need to be able to see that you have compassion. They need to have stability. And most importantly, they need hope of a good future. So trust is the cornerstone. Compassion, stability, and hope. Think about how each of your agents needs to see these in you, and these are their needs that they have that can be fulfilled through your leadership role. And every time you make a leadership decision, go back to this and look at, am I fulfilling trust, compassion, stability, hope in this decision that I'm making. So again, in the book Strengths-Based Leadership, there are 4 domains of leadership strengths. There's executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And all of the strengths in the book fall under one of those categories. And I forgot how many strengths there are, but anyway, it's a lot. So you can see, for example, under the executing category, there's achiever, arranger, belief, consistency. Whatever it is, you have strengths. And so what you want to do on your worksheet is circle your strengths and then look and see which domain it falls under. Does it fall under the domain or the category of executing or influencing, relationship building, or strategic thinking? I mean, I know for myself, most of my strengths are in the strategic thinking category. So that lets me know that when I hire other people as leaders, I need to make sure that they have strengths in some of the other areas that I'm weaker in, so that we have a holistic, complete leadership team that works together to help our agents. Now let's switch over and talk a little bit about servant-based leadership. And okay, well, I forgot to pull out my book for that, and I don't see it on the bookshelf, but I do have the book from Robert K. Greenleaf. Servant leadership is sort of a newer concept in leadership in the last 10 to 20 years, whereas a traditional leader is focused on fulfilling the organization's goals and getting people to comply. It's built on that top-down power structure, and the whole goal of leadership is achieve the company's goals, and staff is dispensable. They serve at the leisure of the organization. Whereas if you flip it over to servant leader, a servant leader has a heart of service, genuinely listens to customers and staff and your agents, and you empower your staff or your team to go out there and do what they need to do and what they think is best. And you're basically stepping back and supporting them. And whereas in the traditional role, it's all about the company achieving, in the servant-based leader, it's about helping your agents, your team, your staff succeed. And when you focus on helping them succeed, then the theory is your organization will naturally develop and blossom. So the service leadership principles, this is in your worksheet on page, let's see. That's on page 4. The leadership is based on power and influence. So it's all about modeling, being a good example of your ethics and integrity. And the leadership part is based on being humble and caring. It's all about a positive attitude, teamwork, and helping others achieve. So does that make sense? Anybody have questions about servant-based leadership? And remember, it all comes back to session 1, which is our cornerstone foundation, our vision, mission, and values. That is the basic cornerstone of everything that we do at our company. Is, does it fulfill our company's mission? Does it meet our values? And does it include our vision, encompass our vision for the long term? Now let's talk about your succession plan, building for the future. How many of us plan to retire one day? Woohoo! Me! You too, right? We're all going to retire. We should all have our hands raised. So what does that mean? Since we're not going to live forever and we're not going to own our company forever, it means we need to start thinking about building for the future so we can have an exit plan. So we got a little poll right now. Let's go ahead and take our poll. And our poll is called, are you grooming anyone to succeed you? Okay, this time the poll questions are correct. And the answers are yes, I am training someone internally to succeed me. And B is not yet. I do want to groom somebody to succeed me, but I haven't yet, so I'm still searching for the right person. And C is no, I haven't yet given it much thought. And if that's your answer, then terrific. I'm glad you're here today because this is the first step in grooming somebody to succeed you, is to start thinking about it. Okay, we have A, we have C. We're looking for some B answers. Okay, we have more A's, more C's answering. Okay, wonderful. We have A 20%, C 80%. We're still looking for B. So A is yes, I'm training someone internally to succeed me. B is not yet, but I am searching for somebody. And C is no, I haven't thought about that yet. I'll go ahead and end the poll there. So what is the pathway to presidency? Obviously, somebody's going to be president of your organization after you. So always be grooming someone to succeed you as a leader. You might start with a 5-year ladder plan, where you start somebody at the bottom and then you promote them through the various steps needed to be able to be your right-hand person. And eventually you can hopefully step back and enjoy the fruits of your labor and have others run your company while you are a successful business owner, not necessarily having to be involved in the company every day. I mean, that's a great 5-year plan, 20-year plan, depending on how old you are, right? So start at the bottom, train people, have processes in place, a leadership succession plan that you can help them move through the steps. One of the tough topics or challenges of grooming people for leadership is that a lot of people don't step forward into leadership roles. Why is that? We have some various reasons up here. Somebody says, I can't see the value, or I don't see myself as a leader. I'm not sure if I have the skills. It's a clique, or, maybe I don't feel invited. And that is actually the biggest reason why most people don't step forward or don't volunteer, is because nobody's ever invited them to participate or to take on that leadership role. So keep that in mind, that people are probably not going to step forward. Very few are. And you need to be on the lookout for the right person and seeing how you can utilize each person's skills to continue growing your company. And don't be afraid to invite people. As a matter of fact, start by building a pipeline. Cultivate a funnel of prospective leaders. Now, if you have 5 people in your leadership pipeline, don't worry, they're not all going to become leaders. Remember that only a few people will complete the process. Maybe even if you have 5, maybe only 1 will complete your leadership process. The others will weed themselves out. So continuously recruit more agents that you can build into leadership roles. Now we have an activity called Brainstorm Namestorm. That's on page 5 of your activity worksheet. And this is just to trigger your thinking process of who you know and what kind of skills they have. Now, if you want to train 3 people to replace you, I think that's a good goal. But remember, not everybody will have all the skills you need, or they might not be in the right place or position yet to exercise those skills. So this is just a little worksheet for you to write down the names of people you know, whether they have financial skills, decision-making, relationship, problem-solving skills, as we saw in our leadership diamond. The reason is because you need to start thinking about this early, because if you get to the point where you're ready to retire, or for some reason you need to step away from your brokerage and nobody's going to be replacing you, then everything that you've worked so hard for goes down the drain. So you want to make sure that you preserve your great company, your empire that you're building. Now, John Maxwell, which we already said is one of the leadership gurus of our era and an excellent person to follow, he says, success is measured by succession. So we said at the beginning of our series here, some people measure success by money or production or impact and influence or community development. And John Maxwell is saying success is measured by succession. So if you turn out to be a great leader for your company and then you have nobody to succeed you, were you really successful as a leader? So that's something to think about, is who can you find that you can train? And train that person to do your job. So guess what? You can go on to the next job, the bigger job, the higher job, the next level when you have somebody to replace you. So by writing down 10, you can choose 3 people you can start working with. And by the way, these people don't have to be working with your company right now. They can be people that you've identified to work with in the future, or people that might not even be in the real estate industry right now, right? So these are people that you see some potential in and that meet your value alignment and could share your vision and your mission with you. Any questions, please let me know. Okay, now we're on the last section, which is legacy. What will you leave for people to remember? When you're retired and long gone from your company and the real estate industry, will your name live on? Will your basic foundation you've put in place still be going strong? This is what I call motivation mountain. And this is a 7-step progressive hierarchy of entrepreneurial career motivation. This is, I want to call it a mountain because you're sort of climbing up through each phase. And these are the phases you go through as a real estate professional. Now, step 1 at the bottom, you started with profit. When you started the real estate business, most of us got in to earn a profit. Woohoo! We closed our first commission. We got our first check. That's awesome. So that's profit. But then we find out, wow, we can't just do whatever we want to. There are a lot of laws and we have to comply with that. So that's the legal requirement. So now you're earning a profit, but you're also aware that you have to have legal requirements. And then number 3 is ethics, which is normally enforced by the Association of Realtors or other organizations. They have a code of ethics. So now we find out, in addition to making profit, we also have to have one eye focused on legal compliance and another eye on ethics. And then as we go along in our business, after a few years, we notice that we're maybe doing hit and miss. We're maybe not offering the best service possible. So we definitely want to up our game and follow best business practices. And, those are some of the things that we're learning now. As you're following those best business practices, along the way, you really develop a heart for your people, a heart for your clients. You care about them, your agents, your vendors, your even your fellow colleagues as you get involved in more real estate organizations. And that's where you start to really become passionate about the industry and your business. And then you see an opportunity for leadership and you decide to step forward. And that's step 6 is a leadership. You get involved in an organization. You give back to the community. You mentor and train people. And then after a few years, even that's not enough. You start to think about, what am I leaving behind? I've worked so hard. What do I have to show for all my work? What will my legacy be? How will I be remembered? So this doesn't happen overnight. I mean, for me, this has been a 30-year process to get to legacy. Well, I think my thoughts about the legacy really started at year number 25. And that's when I started thinking about really making a difference in this industry. So as a leader, you're going to start at the beginning, profit, just like all of us start. And it will take some time to go through these processes and to climb this mountain and get to the point where legacy is the most important thing to us. So that's about generativity, which means leaving something for future generations to follow. I hope that makes sense to everybody, but just remember, you're driven up the mountain by your passion. So again, going back to John C. Maxwell's writings, here's another book of his, Developing the Leaders Around You. It's all about building a legacy of leadership. It starts with attracting the right people because of your culture and your values. Next, you're going to identify those people that you want to work with. And then number 3 is nurture them, mentor them, train them. Number 4 is equip them, give them all the tools they need. And then number 5 is continue developing them as people, as personal development and professional development. So remember, the prospective leader attraction begins with creating the right climate and the right culture at the very beginning. People are the center. Our organization is all about people and relationships. Think about people that you already know. Mold, shape, and polish those people that you already know, and then go out and meet new people intentionally and bring them into your sphere of influence. Now, as you're looking for future leaders, you'll start to sort of categorize people and identify what type of group they might be in. And here we have 3 groups listed for you, which are the first are the achievers. Those are people who are self-motivated, and it's pretty easy to identify those people. Sometimes they jump out there a little too far, and we might need to rein them back in, right? And then we also have the believers. The believers are people who maybe just need a little encouragement. They need a little inspiration. Maybe they're lacking confidence. And that's something you can provide with your coaching and your training along the right path. And the last group of people are followers. Those are people who are unmotivated to step forward as leaders. They're comfortable being a follower, or perhaps they're just not the right fit for your company and your culture there. And that's okay. Followers might be good employees, they might be good agents, they're just not interested to step into leadership role. And that's okay too. But it's good to know as you're working with people sort of where they are in the process so that you can work on getting them to the next level. Okay, Irene said something. Irene, this lesson is exactly what I need at the exact right time. Woohoo! Awesome! To develop a better me by the good of my future perfect. Thank you, Regina, so much. You're welcome, Irene. I'm glad this is a great session for you, and I'm so glad that you took the time to stay tuned in for us today. Now, I can't leave without talking about one of my favorite lady leaders. Her name is Deborah Trapin, and many of you may have already seen her in the Woman Up organization. She has a book called Fire Up, Taking Your Life and Business to 11, where personal development meets business. And it's an awesome book. I encourage you to get it. Get inspired by her journey and how she can help give you the confidence to move to the next level for you personally. Take time to dream, think, imagine. Leadership isn't always about doing, action, achieving. Leadership is also about envisioning the future, thinking about your organization. If you could start from scratch with nothing, what would your new company look like? Would it be exactly like it looks right now, or would it be completely different? Years from now, what will people remember about you? What will they say about you? And will they be able to realize that you contributed positively? So we have four books for you today, okay? Because we have a special book from Deborah in here, Deborah Trapin. So as I just said, Fire Up, Taking Your Life and Business to 11 with Deborah Trapin. We have John C. Maxwell, Developing the Leaders Around You. We have Strengths-Based Leadership from Gallup with Tom Rath and Don Clifton. And then we have Servant Leadership, A Journey into the Nature of Legitimate Power and Greatness from Robert K. Greenleaf. And all of these are available on Amazon. But what I'm going to do for you is just post the links. Okay, so let me do that right now. Oh, I actually have a few more in here, including How Successful People Lead from John C. Maxwell, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership from John C. Maxwell. Okay, I think I put the wrong, sorry guys, put the wrong link in there. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Some links for all these great books. I hope you're able to take some time and work on your business, work on yourself, personal development this week. We have some great resources for you too. A leadership skills quiz. And Deborah Trapin has generously agreed to give us a free digital copy of her book, and with her code, which is Moxie11. So what I'm going to do is paste all these resources in. I know this is a lot here in your chat bar. Okay, so there we go. Leadership skills quiz, Deborah Trapin's book, Fire Up, and you can use code Moxie11 under that link that I gave you and choose buy a digital book. The Peregrine Leadership Institute and the Robert K. Greenleaf Center for Servant Leadership, and then also Success GPS Conference by Jennifer Baker. I don't have a link to that right now, but she holds really awesome leadership conferences. So I'm going to go ahead and post one last time this digital ebook, Fire Up, from Deborah Trapin. So before you go buy it, here's your copy right there. I'm going to set my sticky message too. So it's stuck up at the top of the chat bar. There you go. Hopefully everybody can see that. If you're on a cell phone, you might not be able to see it. Our free gift to you today was the Leadership Style Matrix, which I've already shared with you. Hopefully everybody received their download copy of that, along with the workbook. Today was the 12th of 12 steps to build your empire, your brokerage empire. And now let's talk about next week, because I'm very excited about it. It says surprise topic, but I'll tell you what it is. We have a new membership program we're launching. Woohoo! Okay, it's going to be all-inclusive program. We're going to have different membership levels depending on how much support you need. We're also going to include, as part of the higher membership levels, a group consultation and brainstorming and masterminding. And we'll also have one-to-one consultation sessions for the highest level of membership. So I'm very excited about it. Of course, it will include lifetime unlimited membership in all of our courses. And in addition, it will also include info products, possible leads, a lot of great stuff. You told us what you wanted. We listened. We're working hard to make all that happen for you. So we're very excited. So definitely be on next week when we launch. Today we talked about Fortune 500 concepts. I showed you how to use the strategies and skills to grow your company without the MBA price tag. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm always available to you. But we don't want to end without giving you a link to our awesome Goal Achiever Daily Planner. All right, so here's a link to that. Let me put a little offer up real quick. Offer. Okay, so there we go. And while you see the offer up there, I'll just show you my books. This is the 2019 Goal Achiever with the geometric blue design. This is the 2019 Goal Achiever with the up arrows design. And this is the 2019 Goal Achiever with the Art Nouveau design. And then I have another one called Vintage, which my husband borrowed, so I don't have it to show you. But I do want to let you know that as a brokerage owner or team leader, I strongly recommend to get one of these with a custom label, a custom cover for you and your team and your future agents that you're going to hire. So please reach out to me. Let me know if you're interested. It does require a minimum order of 15 to get started. And of course, there's a charge for the artwork and that type of thing. But it's a great, great idea. Okay, that is it today, I believe. Let's go back over here to our slide presentation. Any questions? Start strong in 2019. Brokerage owners, how do you turn production into profits of pure gold? Get our secret sauce. We give you the tools to start up, power up, and scale up. And if you haven't already grabbed our awesome masterclass now after today with 12 sessions, okay, 12 masterclass sessions, grab it now, 50% off. I got to tell you, the price is going up next week. It's going to be at least double. The reason is because we have so much content now. It's so valuable. We really can't offer 12 sessions plus all the content, all the handouts, all the bonus material for only $195. So be sure to click on our link here. Let me see if I can share that with you as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, there you go. Masterclass bundle discount. We're sharing that with you. Celebrate success in 2019 with our Masterclass 24K secret special sauce. Woohoo! Again, the bundle includes online access, activity worksheets, bonus content, resources, and I've provided the link for you there. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Oh, I promised that I would tell you what's coming up after next week, our next series we're doing. So our next series, starting in February, is going to be the boss and dominate your market. We have an 8-week session. Every week, we're going to learn different techniques to help you innovate, differentiate, and capture unique market share with Blue Ocean strategy success. It's going to be really awesome. So who's ready? Who's ready to join me in innovation, our masterclass memberships, and consultations with us at any time? Again, you all have my contact information. Ingrid says, thank you, Regina. Woohoo! You're welcome, Ingrid. Great to have you on today. Thanks for joining us. Today was session 12, Scale Up Your Brokerage, Leadership and Legacy. And today was the 12th of 12 sessions of Blueprints to Build Your Empire Profitably. So if there are no further questions, we're going to go ahead and sign off, everybody. See you later. I'll give you another moment to see if there were any questions or comments. Looking forward to everybody joining us next week. Tell your friends about it. It's open to all brokerage owners, even new brokerage owners, seasoned brokerage owners, aspiring brokerage owners. We'd love to have you join us. All right. Bye, everybody. We're signing off.